Good morning. Welcome to Walk on Mind. It's a wonderful day here in Shillong. Today we have among us an industrial stalwart who has over 26 years of experience under his belt. A chartered accountant by origin, he has handled various operations such as retail banking, channels, deposit mobilization. Currently, he is Director of Sales and Operation in Purnartha Investment Group. It's a pleasure to introduce Mr. Dilip Apte. Welcome to IIM Shillong, sir.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Lovely place, lovely campus, and lovely weather. Thank you for inviting me.
Sir, you have worked for over 26 years with HDFC Limited, and now you are with an equity investment group. How has your journey been so far?
It's been long, it's been exciting. There were ups and downs like in any career. But if I have to sum it up in one word, it was very satisfying.
One of your most challenging assignments was setting up a mortgage financing company in Egypt, the first of its kind in private sector. So, can you tell us about that, sir?
Yeah, it was, I think, one of the high points in my career because, to go to a totally new country and actually set up a housing finance company was a great challenge. And when I was selected for that assignment, I was, of course, very excited, but at the same time, very nervous because, a lot was at stake. Not only the reputation of HDFC, but my personal career and a lot of other things that go with a new venture. So I went with a very open mind, and luckily I had a very clean slate to start with. So whatever I said was taken very well. But the biggest advantage for me was that very quickly I was able to get the confidence of the people I was working with. And as I delivered, they accepted it and things just clicked and they worked. And the end result of it was that after about 2.5 years, when we did exit, we exited with almost 33% return on our equity, which was very, very satisfying.
That's nice. Following up on that, with the increasing globalization, there are a lot of international ventures. So there is an increase for managers who are culturally sensitive. So as you have first-hand experience, can you tell how does culture impact doing business?
Yeah, so actually my message to all of you as you are young and you will be starting on new careers, not necessarily an international flavor, be it anywhere where you go. The first thing to succeed is that you must quickly assimilate and take in what the culture or the environment is where you're going to be working. And if you're able to adapt to those conditions, believe me, you cannot fail. And that was the learning for me because Egypt was a very different country, different culture, different religion, different social values and standards. So if you try and follow the traditions that you are used to, because the position you are holding, they might accept you. But if you have to be a part of that team, then you need to be like them. And that's what I tried to do. And I think, I shouldn't be saying it, but I think that was my major reason for success.
I do agree. If you reciprocate, so will they.
Yeah. And you see, when they feel that you're a part of them, they don't take you as a stranger and then they open up.
Yes.
In fact, I remember the staff there who actually couldn't speak good English, but they could communicate with me. So the lady who was heading the company was an Egyptian. And she told me that, Dilip, I realized that they come and confide in you more than what they do to me, in spite of the language barrier. So I think that is very, very important. And you have to make sure that you don't rub them on the wrong side. There are certain values, certain traditions which you must respect them.
Yes. There's one thing I wanted to ask. India has grown into a service industry as well. So any organization, any industry, a consumer or a customer, the first experience is at the front end. And it's always the service that matters. We don't know what goes at the back end, but for a consumer customer, it's the service. So how do you think the service standards in India have evolved and how do they compare against the global?
Well, actually, I don't want to run down our values or our systems, but as you've asked me this question, I must be honest enough and say I am very, very disturbed that our standards definitely are not of world standards. And not that I'm trying to compare, but because I have been traveling, and not only the West, I mean, we tend to compare service standards with the US, UK, Europe, but you go to the Far East or even a country like Sri Lanka, their values, customers, service standards are really good. In fact, over the last 1 year, I've been visiting Bangkok very often because my daughter is there. And even in a country like Bangkok, you go to a restaurant, you go to the airport, you go to a mall, the whole level of service is very, very different. I mean, to give you an example, I went to Bangkok and I wanted to take a SIM card. So AIS is the biggest service provider there. I was waiting and the lady said which language. I said English. Within minutes I was called in, and the person who was at the counter knew everything that he needed to know to give me a SIM card. I didn't see him having to ask anyone. My passport copy, my photograph, what I wanted, and believe me, within I think 7 to 8 minutes I had walked out of the shop with my card activated. I mean, I started getting my WhatsApp messages. There was no that now you'll get a call, you'll have to do a verification and get nothing. And so, and the reason is because they know a lot of tourists come in and tourists look for this card. So, what I strongly feel, to have good service standards, the job knowledge and empowerment of the person who is handling front office is a must. That is a starting point. Unless you do that, the service can never be given. And secondly is the person behind the counter. He must be totally committed to what he is doing. And this message I give whenever I go to a shop or a retail shop. Today, whatever it is, our economy is growing, but still jobs are difficult to get in India. And if a boy or a girl is working in a retail outlet or a shop, he or she must be thankful that today she has a job. And whatever 8 hours is a duty, she has to be fully there. Unfortunately, if you go to any shop today, half the time they're busy accessing their smartphones. So once I asked that salesperson, I said, are you being paid to access your WhatsApp and Facebook here? Or to? I said, you haven't even seen that I've walked into your shop and I'm looking for something. And believe me, I mean, this is universal. And unless, this is one strong message I want to give to your generation, because you are going to take the movement ahead. This is something which has to be inculcated in everyone. That if you are on a job, you have to be 100% there. And service standards, and you see almost 70% of our economy is service driven. Yes. That's why service tax is going up every year. And if we don't excel in this, or we don't see it as a commitment, believe me, when tourists come, this is the first thing that hits them. That soft skills and commitment to serve is not there. So we try, we have all those ads about incredible India and all that, but actually they are not implemented anywhere.
I think with the ease of doing business in India improving, and with the National Skill Development Initiative of India,
Yeah.
and companies actually taking notice of this, they are.
Yeah.
I believe the service standards are going to improve. It might take some time to reach the global standards, but yeah, we are on the track there.
No, with even with e-business and things are going to be easy to do. But even there may not be a face to the service, but there is a service involved. I mean, if you're giving a commitment of 15-day return back policy or 2-day delivery, then those standards will have to be met. I mean, so service will still be there, whether it will have a face or it won't have a face.
Yeah, agree.
That commitment, I don't know whether the organizations that are driving these services make their people take this commitment, or that is something I think you, the future leaders of industry, will have to. And actually, you'll have to do it by setting examples. And to tell you that it is a lot depends on the personal commitment. That if I have committed to you that okay, I'll ring up this person and do something, then I must make sure that come what may, that I'll make that call. It may or may not happen, but I have done my job. When I was talking about commitment and customer service, and what is most important is the person behind the counter. Like years back, I had bought a shirt from Shoppers Stop, and for someone, and I cut off the label because I wanted to present it, and then I found that the size was wrong. So I went back to Shoppers Stop and they said yes, you can change it, but they said, oh, the tag is not there, for them to identify. But that person at the counter, he said, sir, let me, did you buy it on your credit card? Did you buy it on your First Citizen card? And he somehow couldn't trace it. Then I said, okay, forget it, I didn't want to. He said, no, no, sir. He said, does your wife have a card? So I said, yeah. And then, based on my wife's name, he was able to trace that shirt. And this whole thing took him about 10 to 15 minutes, but he didn't give up. And then he said, sir, you please change the shirt and come back to me. Then I'll take you to the cash counter so that there's again no questions asked there. And that was not expected of him because his job was only customer interaction. He came with me to the cashier, he completed my billing process. So and this was about 3:34 in the afternoon. So I told him, I said, I must compliment you that you have gone beyond your call of duty. So I asked him his name was some Yadav, he was from Allahabad. So that was the first thing, that it's only people from metropolitan cities who are good at customer service. That myth was broken here. And then I said, oh, I'm very happy and thank you very much. You know what he told me next? He said, sir, today is my last day in Shoppers Stop. I've resigned and I'll be leaving today. So I looked at him. I said, look at the commitment of this boy. Today is his last day here. I mean, even if he had given me bad service and I had complained, it wouldn't have made a difference to him. But at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when his time finished at 5:30, this was his level of commitment to that brand. And now today, if I go back to Shoppers Stop, he's left, he's not there now. I go back because of this boy. Because one of his commitment, and that the organization has probably inculcated this in him. I hope it is, or it was. So, just see this one. And what did he do? He just spent a little more time with me. And look at the satisfaction I got, that even after 7 years, I can recount this story. So this is very important when I say that the person behind the counter or the person giving the service, he has to go that extra mile and that is what creates brand, and that's what creates values. Some of the big names you see, this B word and all, it's all because of creation of values by a bunch of employees.
That was Mr. Dilip Apte. I hope you find this session knowledgeable and enjoyable. Until next time, thank you.